Well, more than two-thirds of Afghanistan is captured by the Taliban, a stunning collapse for government forces that have been trained and equipped by Western powers for over 2 decades. With Taliban rapidly moving closer to capture Kabul, U.S. military estimates that the capital could come under insurgent pressure within 30 days and that the Taliban could overrun the rest of the country within a few months. In fact, thousands of Afghanis have fled amid the fear of the Taliban returning to its brutal and repressive rule. President Ashraf Ghani addressed the nation, saying remobilizing the Afghan security and defense forces is now the top priority. He has assured his country that he won't allow an imposed war on Afghans to bring further killings, loss of the gains of last 20 years, destruction of public property, and continued instability.
About assurance to diplomats and embassies that there is no danger from our side to them, and that we will not target any embassy, any diplomat. That we have said in our statements not once but many times. So it is our commitment that has been published already. It is in media.
In fact, Taliban is currently fighting for control over the strategically located Mazar-i-Sharif. It is a city in northern Afghanistan where the insurgents have launched a multi-pronged attack at this point in time. The city has been surrounded on 3 sides by the Taliban and are engaged in heavy fighting on the outskirts. There are no words on immediate casualties as yet. Residents of Mazar-i-Sharif fear for their safety. Most businesses are shut and locals have no sources of income. In fact, Taliban has also captured a music station in Kandahar, a radio station, and Taliban has said that no music will play. But the facility will now be used for news, political analysis, and Quran recitations. Meanwhile, videos posted online show that the Taliban have in fact seized Afghan army helicopters at the Shindand Air Base in Herat. Let me go across to Srinjoy Chaudhary, who's joining us for more perspective here. Srinjoy, just a short while back, in fact, Ashraf Ghani said that he's going to ensure that forces are mobilized. There was, of course, speculation that he would be resigning, but none of that has happened.
Well, there was a widespread belief that he is going to resign. Whether it happens now or whether it happens later remains to be seen. The point is that the Taliban, if they have a power-sharing arrangement with the Afghan government presently, they do not want President Ghani. That's really the bottom line. So either way, President Ghani may have to resign. The point that is being made is how quickly the Taliban has really advanced, and that is a worrying thing. If you're going to take a city, sometimes if the defense is very dogged, you actually have to fight street by street and even room to room fighting, as has happened in the past historically. Here, Kandahar is falling in a day. Herat is falling in 2 or 3 days. It's almost amazing that levels of resistance have not been as strong as they were expected to be. What we are hearing is that only a section of the Afghan defense forces are fighting very well. The commandos have fought very well. Some of the intelligence department troops have also fought extremely well. But a large sections of the army may not be fighting as well as they could have. Maybe they haven't had, there are reports, especially in Western papers, that they haven't been paid very well, they haven't been fed very well, and so on. We know that there were ammunition problems at one time, particularly of mortars and heavy artillery. But that has been provided, is what we know. There is also air support, which should bolster the Afghan forces. But now we find that things are really slipping, because no one imagined the Taliban would be as close to Kabul as they are. Perhaps at the gates of Kabul, the Afghan National Army will fight back and show them, the Taliban, that they can really fight and repulse the Taliban. That is the government's expectation. We'll have to see what really happens in the near future.
Yes, absolutely, Srinjoy. That does remain to be seen here. Thank you so much for joining us with all of that perspective. Meanwhile, as the Taliban advances across the lengths of of Afghanistan, uncertainty and fear loom over women and children. Their future looks bleak under the Taliban rule. The teachers shared horrid stories from back in the time when the Taliban, when Islamic fundamentalists, in fact, had controlled everything from daily activities to education and even their clothing and work as far as women were concerned. Listen in.
وقتی که دیدم همه چیز داره از دست میره واقعا ناامید شدم و دمی یکی دو روز فقط همینقدر تلاش میکنم که دوستانم رو بیشتر ببینم. حداقل برنامه‌هایی که می‌خواستم خودم در طول چندین سال بعد انجام بدم اونا رو با بقیه شریک میکنم که اگر یکی از ما زنده ماند او بتونه بقیه برنامه‌ها رو پیش ببره. حلالیت میطلبم از دوستان، اگه به کسی حرفی زدیم کاری کردیم که رنجیده شده، چون اگر طالب بیاید مطمئن هستم که ما زنده نخواهیم ماند و چیزی دیگه بر گفتن میفهمم که ما رو میکشن.
دخترکا داخل رکشا شیشته بودن، از کورس میرفتن طرف خانهشان. قسم چبلی پای ما در پایشون چبلی بوده، اوها را از رکشا پایین کردن، لطکوب کردن همراه کیبل که چرا قسم چبلی میپوشه که جوانا را خراب بکنی.